New era logic. Welcome back to the channel. In this episode, I would like to talk and share my thoughts about the changes that are taking place in the game, and what I believe we should be doing about it as a large community. I must admit that I have no evidence, but the recent changes seem to be a direct response from the developers to the needs of the players. But was it well understood? I have some concerns. However, all this makes me believe that a healthy community helps to create a great game. And I'm talking not only about ordinary players, but also about content creators who have a huge impact on the attitude of players. So if you have a similar opinion and expect positive changes, then go ahead and click subscribe button, because in this video we do not take the easy way out, and we will thoroughly analyze recent events and upcoming changes. To better understand the situation, we need to go back in time to the exact moment when the essence levels were implemented into game. Needless to say, any change that introduces an additional and independent source of damage is great for PvE players. I don't think anyone here has any doubts. However, there was a narrative that made it clear that it was a mechanic that would increase the PvP advantage of players with high resonance. In addition, there were incorrect calculations that were supposed to confirm this. They referred to it as an additional damage multiplier. And here comes the first misconception. In this game there is no damage multiplication. I proved it in one of the previous videos. Damage in the game is additive. We have two main sources of damage. Damage from flat stats and percentage bonus of baseline damage. The sum of the two is exactly what you see on the screen. So here's one conclusion. Each extra percentage from Essence Mastery increases your damage by that exact amount. There is no secret mechanic behind it. So the obvious thing is that the higher your base damage, the more you get from each percentage of the bonus. You don't even have to be a whale, although here I have to agree that like any other bonus in the game for this group of players, it is the most effective. Of course, if we compare a whale with a free-to-play player, each additional damage modifier will increase the whale's advantage. But let's think about it. Is it even worth analyzing? In my opinion, this is an obvious thing that forces each individual player to develop statistics. The real advantage of the whales is not about defeating one player. Their advantage is used to fight several players at once and get out of it alive. And here's where an interesting thing happens. Because paradoxically, in this case, after introducing the additional damage modifier, high resonance players become less effective than before. If you are wondering how is that possible, then the answer is simple. A whale can only be defeated by numbers, so statistically two players are enough to do more damage than the one whale. So this clearly shows that the percentage bonus available to everyone reduces the chances of high resonance players based on their current playstyle, of course. This chance gets even smaller with each successive opponent. That's obvious. So it makes sense to me that the changes should be considered in terms of a wider perspective, and each advantage needs one factor to exist. That factor is time. Increasing the overall DPS for all players without increasing the HP pool at the same time results in a decreased time to kill. This should force players to play more carefully, also the whales, since any mistake hurts more than before. But careful playing doesn't necessarily please whales. This is a normal situation for free-to-play players, as they have always had to fight to survive in battlegrounds. But the high-resonant players preferred to go right in the middle. So the authorities started making videos where they showed how unfair battlegrounds are now and how much more damage they get. But weren't they always unfair? Personally, I think they were always like this. But this time it also affected players with high resonance, so the complaining started. And here, in my opinion, the developers' answer appears by adding an extra bonus to regular jewelry gems. First of all, it will increase the base stat of green items. That stat is HP. And if I remember correctly, that's exactly what some of the whales wanted to be implemented into the game. However, for some reason, the same people consider it another pay-to-win mechanic, which is not logical to me. Regardless of how you see the previous Essence Mastery update, the upcoming update will simply eliminate the differences created due to the increase in total damage. I don't know if it will be 1-to-1 proportion, but it should bring back the battlegrounds to the old state. And this is what the authorities wanted to achieve with their videos. Is it a good change? Hard to say. More HP pool means longer time to kill anyone. So again, numbers will play more than people. On the other hand, you will have more time to react and more mindless games. Personally, I don't mind the short time to kill. It forces me to adapt to the situation, so trying to counter the current meta. And I can't say that I always succeed. What if I succeed? It gives me much more satisfaction. I also think that pushing ideas on how to make every class a great damage dealer is pointless. For a very simple reason. As a free-to-play or low spender, you have to squeeze the best out of your character, and not every character is made to do damage. So an example with a demon hunter that still does massive damage just with primary attack. However, if he dies easily, it's not because he's a weak class. This is not tank. He needs team support to keep him alive. So personally, I would prefer the changes in this game to be directed towards logical gameplay than mindless running after frags like now. So pay attention to how often there are new updates in this game. It's also hard not to notice that the changes often contain things that the community complains about. And I can say it from the creator's perspective that only constructive opinions help in a good judgment of the situation. So maybe instead of complaining about literally everything what's new, it's worth spending more time and sometimes analyzing the situation in a wide perspective. I believe that everyone already knows how much this game is pay to win and how many times content creators have already left the game. But in this way, we do not create any valuable opinion that would allow Blizzard to move in the right direction. And let me be clear here. In my opinion, this game is one of the best you can play on your phone. As an active player who is in contact with a lot of other players, I know that people will play this game for a very long time. So creating constructive feedback from the community is key to improving it. I cannot guarantee that everything will be listened and implemented, but a reasonable developer should listen, and we have nothing to lose. So remember, people, have fun and keep dancing, but only to the good music. I realize that not everyone will agree with me, as this is just my opinion. But if you appreciate my work, then don't forget to hit like button and subscribe to stay updated. Check my other videos. And as always, thanks for watching.